Welcome to Retrograde, the show where we... This is episode number 42, and today we're going to be discussing the PlayStation 2 title Metal Gear Solid 2. My name is Jack Marshall, I'm joined today by Anthony Hobday.
Hello.
Zan Fisher.
Hi.
And Jason Fedian.
Hi.
Woo! Back once again with the Retrograde Masters.
Boom, 2014.
Haven't said that for a while. Yeah, 2014. Do you have good New Year's?
Still all alive, so...
Yeah, that's
Got that going for us.
Is that
which
your
nice.
New Year's resolution to stay alive?
Not to die this year, yeah. That's my... If I stick to my New Year's resolution every year, I should live until I'm a good 30, 40 years, and then I'm done. Then I'm out. Yeah.
And then you don't care anymore.
Then I've seen it all.
So it's a good idea.
Jack was recently talking to someone about the listenership we get in this show.
Oh,
Yeah.
blimey,
Because
yeah.
I'm quite happy.
All of them.
Wait,
No, I
do
mean,
you
like
mean the numbers or the
numbers,
type?
yeah, I'm quite happy with the numbers we get. And then Jack was saying to someone who hadn't heard of the show before, we've been doing this for over 2 years. And that made
We
the
haven't
numbers...
been doing it for over 2 years, but anyway.
No.
Nearly.
This,
when did we start?
May
Year and
will
a
be
half.
2 years.
Oh, okay, so we've been doing it for nearly 2 years, right? It's a bit weird that it doesn't feel that long, but it also explains the listener numbers, because we've been going for nearly 2 years.
42 episodes. This is episode 42.
It feels like we've been doing it for way less time.
Definitely running out of steam. Losing any
Running out of
content.
games. I remember you saying that we're not going to have enough games to do.
I did have some choice words to say about
You
this show before we
you
started.
also said, and I quote, nobody's going to listen to a podcast that's more than 30 minutes long.
You also said you would never actually listen to it yourself.
No, I pretty much don't.
And you said you don't know how you'd be able to talk about one game for more than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I remember saying,
Which
I
is
don't
impressive.
think James should have used the words "and I quote" because I'm not sure those are the exact words.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it was apparently over 2 years ago. So.
And I'm paraphrasing, maybe is the better choice of words.
I was a lot younger back
But
then.
anyway, so what was the
I
point
think we
of
all
this?
were, Jack.
What was the point of this? That we've been doing it for 2 years? That we're getting good numbers?
No, it's just that like it feels nice to have like people listening to our show. But
The
since
point
we've been-
was, it's incredible that people are listening, basically.
No,
That was shocking.
It's a miracle.
Shocking, really.
A Christmas
Right, this is a
miracle.
great product.
no,
This is an awesome, accurate show.
Start selling it. Start selling it at 69p.
no. My point was
Yeah,
that
everyone turning
No,
off. Like, turning
no,
off
no.
now,
on
gone.
news.
We can't
Hey
charge
guys,
for
I've got
this.
an idea. Let's create an app for our podcast, right? Where you install it on your iPhone or your Android device, and then you have a subscription fee, maybe 30, 40 quid a month, and you just get sort of the podcast downloaded automatically onto your... And it randomly, intermittently plays like 3 a.m, 5 a.m, 7:15 a.m.
I love it. I love
set
it.
it as an alarm. So when
Yeah.
you wake up in the morning, you wake up to me going, welcome to Retrograde.
In fact, you can't not set it as an alarm.
You could wake up, the first thing you do is start listening to the show. We've done enough episodes, you can listen to 24 hours worth as well. Someone out there should do a marathon.
Have we actually done enough? So, I suppose we have.
Yeah, well, each episode's an hour. We've done 42. We've got nearly enough for
Almost
2 full
days.
days.
God,
That's
two
a
nightmare-filled days.
roaring weekend that would be.
my point. But no, my point
With no
was
sleep.
Crazy!
my point was that I was really happy that we put so little effort in as I saw it, and we get like these listeners, but we've actually put in nearly 2 years.
We had a couple of listeners saying how, like, when they were driving home for Christmas and stuff, they would, like, listen to about 4 or 5 episodes in a row. Which, to be honest, I can't even listen to you guys for 4 or 5 episodes
I can't
in a
even
row,
stand
so-
you guys for
Yeah.
more than it takes
You like
to
your
do
own
this
bits.
podcast.
You like your
Oh, I
own
love
bits,
it. If
but
I could edit it, so it's just me. It'd be brilliant. Just talk to myself.
just Jack asking questions and not getting any answers. So what do you guys think of no responses? Okay, next game.
Just getting confused all the time as well.
You're quite right, Jack.
I started playing, touching you on your arm
Don't
there.
touch me.
I started playing, is it Deadly Souls or Dark Souls?
Yeah.
The one that's Let's Die edition or whatever.
Yeah. On PC.
No, on the 360 because I'm a real gamer. And it's good. It's good fun. Although it's funny how I get really angry and turn it off and go, I'm never playing this again.
Okay, 2 things. 1, what kind of character are you building? And 2, where are you?
Oh, I just did the boring old, I'm just a normal hero.
Adorable hero.
Middle of the road.
What does that mean?
Means I just picked the default guy.
Okay.
Although
You're
I
gonna
had
have to-
although I picked his face out, then when I started, had loads of scars. I was like, what's
Yes,
those
because you
scars
picked
for?
his living face, but you start off hollowed, which is like you being dead, so
Oh.
you need to become alive.
I got some choice banter actually.
Go on then.
Over Christmas, my boyfriend bought me a Wii U, and I have been playing Super Mario 3D World like crazy. I am so into that game, man.
God.
It is awesome.
You scared me that I thought you were coming out on the podcast.
I've got
So this is the worst time you could do that.
I've gotten over
ruined
200 green stars so far. I've already completed Bowser. I'm onto the Rainbow Road, Star
I
Road,
was
whatever it's
gonna.
called.
It ruined it. I was gonna build it up as the proper, lovely story it was because I didn't know I was getting a Wii U for Christmas. Neil and I had agreed on how much we were going to spend on each other, so we saved
then he
embarrassment
cheated.
around gift giving, and then we did our
choice of
presents.
words.
We did our presents before going to our respective parents' houses for Christmas, and then he came down to Devon to spend time with my family for a bit, and then he turned up with a Wii U for me as a Christmas present,
That's
which
really
was
nice.
it was amazing.
What
I
games-
cried.
what
It
games
was
did you get?
ridiculous. He got me Super Mario 3D Land, 3D World. 3D Land is for the 3DS. Super Mario 3D World and the crappy Sports Connection game, which is meant to be Wii Sports, but it is terrible.
Classic Neil.
No. It came with the bundle. It came with the bundle.
What's better, the Wii U version of Mario or the 3DS version?
The 3DS version because it's actually 3D.
See,
I
that
actually play
some
on the
people would
2DS.
see that as a negative, though. Listen, the 3D.
Well, only people who can't do 3D on a 3DS.
Well, yeah, that's actually
James.
quite a large contingent in the gaming audience. You know, some people
No,
might
I
say
mean
that.
they are incredibly similar games. They are visually the style. They're not Galaxy. They're
Is
not
it better?
anything
Is
else.
it better
They're
with
like that.
multiplayer or worse? Because I've heard people having mixed opinions on that one.
When Neil and I played
Mm-hmm.
co-op, we weren't very cooperative. We just and we got very competitive very quickly and agreed not to play the game together again because it caused too much of an argument.
Nice.
So playing it on my own has been great fun.
I see.
But then when it was all four of us all mucking about, we weren't.
Yeah,
I'd,
yeah,
al-
'cause-
I'd already done the levels, so I already knew.
You just had a blast.
Anthony-
so
Anthony's
I
really
could relax
dangerous.
and have fun.
You
but-
can't take it seriously with 4
You're
players.
not a fun
Exactly,
Way too,
but the first playthrough, I want to get as much as possible, and because I'd already done the bits we were doing, I didn't have that OCD
Yeah.
kind of desire thing, so I could relax and
I
enjoy the chaos.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly mention actually, I'm as you all know, I brought an Ouya, and I'm not in the camp of it's rubbish or it's brilliant. I just go, yeah, it's alright.
Jack, we're all very sorry. for you.
Booyah!
I brought it home over Christmas thinking, oh, I'll see if I play it. And I was going to play N64 with my friends and then with my family. Ended up playing with my friends. They all mocked it. They called it Robert Mugabe because they thought that was hilarious.
Robert
Some-
Mugabe.
Okay, how does that make sense?
They just thought someone said it and they thought it was funny.
What the hell?
I don't know. It's weird.
That is not
Keep
even.
in mind,
someone
keep in
just
mind,
come
these
out
are
with that.
Jack's childhood
Robert
friends.
That's not
Mugabe.
even a joke. It's literally just an entirely different series of words spliced together with this.
Robert Mugabe. Anyway, we played Towerfall. They were all mocking the console. I started playing Towerfall and they loved it. We ended up playing for about 2 hours. Then next day, with my family, we played this one called Lost in Plain Sight. I think it's on the Xbox 360 Indie Arcade.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it is awesome. And you guys have played this too,
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just want to say, I'm still not in the camp of the is amazing. It's still pretty average. But those 2 games, I was like, that was really good fun over Christmas. Really
Well, any
enjoyed it.
system is sold on the premise of its titles.
Yeah, but that's 2 games literally. I mean, there's not much else I would.
Right, but it cost what, £10? So it's fine.
It's like 50 pence.
70 quid. I think.
Whoa, way
I don't
too
know
much.
what- yeah, it's
Robert
about
Mugabe.
The price is quite inflated.
Anyone else got anything over Christmas? that you-
I want to. I want to step back for a
political
minute.
joke.
I want to step back for a minute, Jack. Where are you in Dark Souls? I need to know this because your opinion of the game
So
matters.
I killed a
depending
boss and then a crow picked me up. I was like, get off me, crow, you stupid
Oh,
crow.
so okay, you've done the tutorial.
And then I'd done the tutorial, landed,
Oh.
and then what happened? I ran off, done about 20 minutes, died,
did
and
you
then went
go-
back to a checkpoint. It was 20 minutes ago, and I went, get rid of this out of my face.
did you go up or did you go down?
I went up.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
But then, so I did that, and then I turned it off angry, but then I started again, died again, went back to the point, and I was
yeah.
like, right, I'm just going to have to get on with this.
That is
Do
Dark
it.
Souls. Yeah.
And it's one of those games where I don't want to stop playing it because the controls are quite fine. Like you have to really get used to it, like holding the left bumper for your shield and the right
Yeah.
bumper.
You should always have your shield up because.
Yeah, I've learned that pretty quickly. And also targeting enemies is pretty much vital. If you don't target them, you
Oh
can get
yeah, it's
screwed.
ridiculous if you don't. Yeah, totally. But persist because it's an incredible game.
Did you guys get any Christmas games over the Christmas period?
Yes, I did actually.
Not Christmas games, but yeah.
Charlotte's mum got me the Metal Gear Solid HD collection for my Vita,
Oh.
which was I think that's the first game anyone's given me as a Christmas gift.
I think it was that as well. blimey.
Yeah,
It's
and
like buying clothes, it's quite difficult to
yeah,
know
I
the
know,
tastes and
which
everything.
makes it more impressive, I think, because obviously she knows that I love.
Did
those
you
games.
mention it every other conversation to Charlotte,
Yes,
like
yes.
subtly?
And
Yeah.
mum.
And which is good. So I actually listened for this podcast. I played Metal Gear on the Vita, which is very
Is
similar.
it so? Is it the same as because I got it for 360 and it's 2,
the
3,
same.
and then Peace Walker?
It's the same, but it doesn't have Peace Walker on it for some
Oh, that's
reason.
strange.
Don't know
Were you
why.
saying things like, please could you pass the Metal Gear HD collection at breakfast?
Yes.
Instead of the salt. I mean, salt, you know.
That's pretty much it. That's how it went down. Yeah.
Still on breakfast. Ooh.
I got lots
Eggs?
of games for Christmas because obviously got quite a few of the Wii U, and then Neil also got me the new Professor Layton for my 3DS.
Another one. I swear, every
Which is
other
cool.
podcast you say you got the new Professor Layton. How many have there been now? 8.
This is the 5th and the last.
Why is it the last one?
She's
They're
just done with
not
the
doing
series.
anymore.
Oh, they're not
Really?
making it.
What level 5?
Well, no, we're already 3 years behind Japan for the Professor Layton release date, and it ended 3 years ago in Japan,
Oh,
and they haven't released any more.
weird.
So yeah,
That was probably do a very
Yeah.
similar game though.
but that's why
Dr.
listeners,
Puzzles,
That's why, listeners, I'm afraid I didn't get to play Metal Gear Solid 2 for this episode. It's because I've been too busy playing all my other games. Pokemon update, however.
Oh, good God.
Out of 718
Pokemon grade.
I currently have 601. I've only got 117 to go.
Have you got Growlithe?
Yeah.
Just get 600 Growlithes. That's what I do. Have an army of Growlithes.
You only need 6 because you can't field more than 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you use 600?
Anyway, and
level
so
these
I'm
now.
desperately awaiting the release of Pokebank, which, as we know, crashed the Nintendo servers over Christmas. So they withdrew it
We're
from
all
Japan
very well familiar with that fact.
and didn't release it. No, this was a massive thing. Did you not know about this?
In your
We all
household.
fell foul of it.
Across the world, all the Nintendo servers
the
crashed.
world.
So no, it did. So no one could log in with their Wii U's that they
Jack
got on
James and I
Christmas
were having
Day.
problems logging in.
No one could log in
Jesus.
with their
If
3DSs
this
to
was a
download
film-
any of the content they'd bought for Christmas.
I suppose
The whole servers went down.
If
Nintendo
this was
ruined.
a film, this monologue would be spliced together with footage like of the globe and lights going out all across the world. Like
Did they not?
Japan?
Yeah, did they not
empty,
cancel
UK
Christmas?
done.
Because that's pretty bad, isn't it?
They might as well have. We're not releasing Pokebank.
Jack, James and I were sat around our Pikachu table that we play Pokemon around, not being able to log in, just tearing up.
Pokemon
Wearing
cards.
Wearing our
Pokemon
Pikachu
cards.
onesies
Yeah.
over a candle, going, I remember when I got a Pikachu.
Well, I was wearing a Charizard onesie, but not a Charizard, Magikarp.
How does that work? Do you have to hop everywhere?
It's a tail between
No,
the
he
legs.
just,
It's really
he just
awkward.
flash it. He just
Andy,
flashes.
did you play any games over the Christmas period, or did you not get a chance?
New Tomb Raider.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it's great.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
No, I
think-
think no, it's because it's
Why are you being so earnest?
It's surprisingly good.
I think it's like
Why?
a slightly less well-made Uncharted, but more fun for that because
But
it's
who
more
has time?
action-paced.
Who has time
fast-paced.
for the poor man's Uncharted? I mean, The Last of Us.
No, because
makes
it's different.
Uncharted
It's
the
not.
poor man's Uncharted.
It's not all of the same, but slightly worse in every aspect. It's slightly worse in every aspect, but different and better in some aspects.
Did you say Uncharted is the poor man's Uncharted?
No, it is. Yeah.
In comparison to The Last of
They've
Us, was his
bested
point.
themselves.
No, it's different games.
Then Uncharted is the poor man's Last of Us, is what you is what you're
Whatever.
saying?
Well, it's
Oh,
kind
have
of
you
a genre
seen-
now, isn't it?
Have you seen that new game from Shinji?
I don't think that's a person.
The Resident Evil guy,
Oh no, I think I might have heard of it. Which
Shinji
one?
something.
What's the name?
It's called.
Is it? I think I do know the one you're talking about. But I
Yeah,
can't
it's
remember the
basically a
name.
post-apocalyptic game
Yes,
set in
yes.
like, realistic city.
Yeah, I know the one.
And
yeah.
the logo is very, very similar to the Last of Us logo. Like it's got
Oh, I
like
haven't
a
seen the
nail
logo.
going
What game
through
are you
it.
talking about?
Oh.
I can't remember what it's
going to be like another
Brilliant.
third-person
Yeah,
shooter,
it's
right?
a really
Yeah.
informative.
It's
comment
from
Francis
it's from the
made.
guy who made Resident Evil. So it's
Shinji
meant to-
Mikami?
Yeah, Shinji Mikami. It's meant to be like a spiritual successor to Resident Evil,
I've not heard of this.
but
Should
it's
be good.
it looks very similar to The Last of Us. So maybe they're trying to capitalize on that success.
Maybe. Although Resident Evil 4 did kind of start
can-
the genre The Last of Us.
I can
then
quickly
borrowed
Google
from.
it if you can keep talking for another couple of minutes. about
So,
something else.
guys, the weather, huh?
I like your hair at the moment, James. You've got this
Thank
nice
you.
hedgehoggy thing going on at the front.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I just don't look.
Was
in
that an
the-
accident or did that
I
just
woke
happen?
up and then I didn't touch my head until now.
Oh,
It's not a
really?
hedgehoggy
It
thing,
looks
James.
cool.
Don't listen to that.
Thank you.
part.
Thanks. Well,
No,
hedgehogs
in
are
a good
alright.
way. Hedgehogs are cool.
I'd make it like this so I can run really fast. I
Oh, you
stepped
being
out the door.
Sonic?
I stepped out the door 10 minutes ago.
That's amazing.
The problem with really enjoying games from certain studios like Naughty Dog is that now that there's a new console generation, they're going to be making Uncharted and Last of Us possibly games for PS4 instead, and I won't have one for years. So that's the problem with. I liked that the PS3 lasted this long because you
Yeah.
could play every major game.
So-
Now that I don't have a PS4, I can't
Shinji
play.
Mikami,
Yeah,
The Evil Within, the horror
Sure.
game.
That'll be it.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
It's not post-apocalyptic. It's always like a horror game in like a haunted house and stuff, right?
No.
Horror games can be post-apocalyptic.
No, it's like set in a city. All the concept.
Oh,
art
that
was-
logo is similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evil Within. Okay, yeah, no, because I'm very interested in that game because I know he's putting it in a letterbox format, like a film.
Oh.
Although there might be
Oh.
Makes it feel more like a film.
Oh.
There might be in-house stuff, but all I saw was like in big buildings, like office buildings.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Last of
Yeah, I
Us,
saw that as well.
and in parking garages.
ID Tech 5, so it looks pretty good. It's one of the games actually I'm very excited about getting a next-gen console for because I love my horror games. Do love them.
Yeah.
But
I don't
yeah.
like them.
Anyone else got anything to share before we start talking about the game this week?
Scare me.
We all done? Good.
Yes.
Well, yeah, today we're going to be talking about Metal Gear Solid 2 for the PlayStation 2, but before we do, let's have a quick blurb on the game from our resident guest on the show, Neil Skinner.
Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty is an action-adventure stealth video game directed by Hideo Kojima, originally developed by Konami Computer Entertainment Japan and published by Konami for the PlayStation 2. It is the fourth Metal Gear game produced and directed by Kojima and the direct sequel to Metal Gear Solid. The game was critically acclaimed, shipping over 7 million copies worldwide and scoring an average Metacritic aggregate score of 96%, making it the fourth highest rated game on the PlayStation 2 and the tied sixth highest rated game of all time.
Thanks for that. Neil, Just a quick reminder, if you enjoyed this episode, you should head over to iTunes and right now and pop down a review for us. And thanks to the people who've been doing. We got quite a lot over December, actually, quite a lot of reviews, so thank you very much.
Because they're all after the exclusive limited edition Christmas card.
Well, the Christmas card's over now, although I've got some left over, so I could just send them out anyway.
What's the next holiday coming up?
Valentine's.
Valentine's Day.
Oh, never mind. There goes my second idea.
Well, we can send them Valentine's cards.
Hey, listen, for a limited time only, the next person to write us a review gets to go on a date with all 4 of us to the restaurant of your choosing. Hey, brilliant.
You get to pay. We should put that up front. We should actually offer that and see if anyone takes us up on it.
If they want to take us out for dinner?
Please buy us dinner. I'm starving.
We'll pay for ourselves, right? But it's a prize. They can go out with us, like, just to have a conversation. But to make it more like the podcast, they can't speak. So it's just the 4 of us having a normal group, and they're sat on like the 5th top chair. And they have to bring the chair over because it's a 4-person table, and it's just like be the 5th wheel of one of our like great nights out.
That's what we should call it. The Be the 5th Wheel competition. That's
Now in
amazing.
effect.
Let's think about it before we offer it on air.
we treat our fans. So one of our listeners posted, he tweeted a picture of our Christmas card, and it was one I think you wrote in it. It was like, "You mean nothing to me," or something like that. Was the message in it?
Oh, James wrote lots of hilarious things in his. I think my favourite was "Help Me." That was the best one.
I didn't write that. What the hell?
Speaking of competitions,
well, I was going to say, no, they should head over to iTunes right now and pop down a review, just like those guys did, because then you get hilarious banter from us talking about you, which is great.
Hilarious.
And also you can obviously follow us at Twitter at Retrograde Show, where we talk about the competition, which Anthony's going to share with us right now.
The Paul Monahan giveaway.
The
last episode, well, not really, because that was the Christmas episode.
Like a month ago.
The last regular episode, we were giving away Bastion and Limbo, double pack. And the winner of that is Dave Wills.
Woo!
Dave Wills?
Dave Wills.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing.
Is it Will or Wills?
We better hope there's not 2 guys now, one called Dave Will, one called Dave Wills, because they're going to be fighting each other.
Right, well, it's one of those.
well, no, one's the winner is. Are we saying their Twitter handle?
I haven't got it written down, but it's something like official Dave W or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll be in touch.
Okay, so you've won a copy of Bastion and a copy of Limbo. That's pretty awesome. Atmospheric Games. Bastion's especially.
Just in time for the darkness of January.
Bastion has colours, Limbo doesn't have colours.
That's
Yeah, they
You've
complement
got-
well. You can put them together.
Yeah,
and they'll both be
Limbo's a
full
nice puzzle
spectrum.
game. Bastion's a hard puzzle game.
Bastion.
But wait, what? Bastion isn't a puzzle game.
Or Bimbo.
I'll get confused with Braid.
Oh, yeah, I
There
get
you go.
confused.
Atmospheric as well.
Bambo.
Bamba. You're just still trying to combine the 2 words.
Well, it's what Bimbo, but it's only one there.
Portmanteau.
Yeah,
It's called
that's a really bad
portmanteau.
attempt at combining the 2 words.
So,
actually.
what are we giving away next time?
Next time we are
This
giving
time,
away.
in fact.
This time, sorry.
Well, yeah, this time. If you want to enter our next competition, in which we are giving away, this is a Square Enix pack.
wow.
Hitman
Oh,
Blood
dear.
Money, Dungeon Siege, and Just Cause 2. They're all Steam codes.
Oh, there's a new multiplayer patch out for Just Cause.
Yeah, Just Cause 2 just got the multiplayer mod. It's not a patch; it's like a fan.
Yeah,
You have
actually
to.
released
It's a standalone though, isn't it? You have to buy it separately.
it. No.
No, I think it's free.
It's not free.
Is it not free?
Oh, if
it's
it's
not
free,
free.
if it's free,
No.
we'll throw in a competition as well. Just a link. Just a zip
I'm pretty
file.
sure it's not free.
That's
Could be
4 titles, including the free. No, it's apparently. But yeah, if you want to play that multiplayer, you get a free copy of Just Cause, so you don't mind spending the money
Just Cause
on.
2.
Also,
Just Cause 2,
Hitman Blood Money is really good.
It's the best in the series,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, that's a Square Enix pack. You get all 3 of those games. If you win, to enter, we'll be putting the competition details on Twitter. Just retweet that, and you'll be entered into the next show's drawing.
Fan Dabby Dozy.
Okay.
So yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2. What can be said about this game? Who chose it? I've forgotten.
I
Did you?
chose it,
James,
yeah.
Why did you
obviously.
choose Metal Gear Solid 2?
I mean, it's the best stealth game that's ever been made, isn't it?
It's the best what?
Stealth game.
But it's not, but okay.
No.
Carry on.
Wait, are you saying it's not a stealth game or it's not the best stealth game?
It's not even anywhere near the best stealth game. It's not even near a game. Carry on.
Podcast over. If you don't
I
like the
don't
sound
like
of this,
this-
turn off now.
Well, I'll weigh in straight away and say I don't like Metal Gear Solid 2. I don't
Okay.
like Metal Gear Solid games. I think they are
You
paste.
just said you had the pack on your 360.
I brought it to give it a good chance. I thought I'm going
Okay.
to really get into it because I never had Sony consoles growing up, and one of the reasons was the Metal Gear Solid games were like a flagship of the title, flagship of the console, and they're boring. They're paced terribly. The cutscenes, people go, "Oh, I'm right on cutscenes."
I think they're paced amazingly well. I think pacing is the strongest point of it.
Nothing of him just throwing a cigarette into a lake, and it's just
But
like.
its style, its characterization. If this was a film, you'd be going, "Oh wow, Tarantino's
No.
done it again, amazing." Yeah,
No,
I love.
If you put
Pulp
all those
Fiction.
cutscenes together and put it into a film, I go, "This is terrible. It's the worst film I've ever seen. This is Channel 5 late night rubbish." And it
Whoa,
shows-
Channel 5
and it
late night was
shows-
pretty awesome
It shows
back in the
because
day.
the story,
But you don't.
the story is insane. It doesn't make any
The
sense.
story is Machiavellian. It's incredibly complex. It's crazy.
I don't even know what that means.
It's,
What does Machiavelli
the story-
mean?
Prince Machiavelli is an Italian construct whereby he is only out for himself, and everything he does is to further his own need and gain and
Think about-
status.
Is that the Patriots?
No, that's Hideo Kojima. Listen, think about all of the crazy shit that goes on in that game. He is the reaction you're having now is intentional. He wants to screw with people. He hates his audience. Fans know Kojima does not like his fans.
Really?
Yeah, like the whole, I mean, we're gonna assume that you've played the game for this podcast because there are gonna be spoilers. When you start the big shell part of the game.
I love when you talk to the listeners directly.
When you start the big shell part of the game, Raiden is called Snake, and you're like, oh cool, yeah, I like Snake. And wait, why has he got blonde hair? Oh well, I'm just playing the game. And then for the entire rest of the game, you don't play as the protagonist. You play as some effeminate weirdo in a skin-tight latex bodysuit. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, but that's totally the way for him to come back in Revengeance, so that's pretty great.
Shh. So that's like the total opposite of Snake as a hero.
James when he's talking about Solid Snake.
That's the total opposite of Snake as a hero. And people have grown really fond of Snake. Like, they liked him a lot. He's a good character. And suddenly you're just thrown in the deep end with this totally different character. It's like, what? Why are you doing this?
That's not why I didn't like the game. I don't like it because I watched... Sorry, go on. You finish your point, sorry.
I think it's paced really well as well. I think
how can you say it's paced really well? Because you run around like, get to Strut B. I'm going to Strut B.
No, but
you're running around for like
getting
6
to Strut
minutes.
B, each bridge between the struts is a puzzle.
And then you walk in a room and the enemies come back and it's like, I just killed all these guys. And it's just like, oh,
yeah, because you can't kill them because it's a stealth game. You're not meant to kill them. You're meant to sneak past them.
Do you know what did it better? At the same time, Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell
so
sucks.
much better.
Splinter Cell sucks.
I really enjoyed Conviction. And I'm sort of looking forward to Blacklist whenever it gets cheap enough.
It's about 20 quid now.
Yeah, it's not cheap enough.
If you enjoy action games that have nothing to do with stealth, then go ahead.
Yeah, I do.
Did you enjoy the story of Metal Gear Solid
Yeah,
games?
I thought it was incredible. Because it's very cheesy, it's very Japanese, it's quite cringy in a lot of places. But it draws influence from so many places. And if you actually pay attention and think about it, a lot of it's very meta and self-referential. It breaks the fourth wall a lot. But it's actually a pretty cool story, to be honest. It's interesting.
It's all like Patriots and then Metal Gear Water and all this like, oh my god, there's Metal Gear coming. And then there's the President's Daughter, which is where I gave up. That's how far I got. Bit where she's walking across the struts and you have to sniper the little bombs and there are planes flying and going, those drones are going and come in.
Could you not do it, Jack?
Give it out. I can't remember. And it was just doing me in. And the bosses go on for ages. I don't mind the boss battles, but I was a bit like, oh, Vamp, he's jumping around the wall.
I mean, the Metal Gear series is credited with having some of the best bosses in any game. Like, they're really well received usually.
There's one apparently in 3 with a guy called War or something. He's like a sniper.
The end.
And the end maybe, yeah. And it lasts about an hour.
Not if you do it right. I mean, for that fight it's cool because if you go into your PlayStation 2 menu and you set the time for it, if you set the clock forward by like 100 years, he'll die of old age.
Brilliant.
In the game.
There you go.
That's ridiculous.
It's awesome. It's breaking the fourth wall again. Like, I think that's really cool.
There's one in Metal Gear Solid 2 called Fat Man. He's a explosive expert who rolls around on roller skates.
Okay.
Wait, rollerblades.
He's a mad bomber.
Sorry.
There's a boss in Metal Gear Solid 1 where you have to take the controller out of port 1 and put it into port 2.
Oh, we've mentioned that before because he could read your thoughts.
Yes,
so you had to move it.
That kind of thing is what Kojima does a lot of. And I mean, there's a part near the end of
And
Metal
that's
Gear
what you're
Solid 2.
calling breaking the fourth wall?
Yes, because it involves actually noticing the hardware that the game is played on and takes out the experience intentionally. I mean, there's a part later on in Metal Gear Solid 2. In Metal Gear Solid 2 where the current... You've completed it, Jack.
Metal Gear Solid 2?
Yeah.
No, I got to the bit with the President's Daughter and screwed this game and loved that.
Well, there's a bit later on where all of the characters who've been helping you, they kind of go a bit crazy and they start just talking to the player instead of the character. They're like, turn the console off now. Like, this is terrible, you need to turn the console off. And it's interesting. No other game does that.
See, that's breaking the fourth wall when you reference your audience.
Direct address, is breaking the fourth wall.
You say another game does that, but there was an X-Men versus Apocalypse, whatever it's called, game on the, I think, Genesis, where to progress you had to turn off the console.
Oh, really?
Well, you had to press because it comes up with a messaging game and it says reset the machine now.
Oh, okay.
And so because the reset button wasn't hardwired, it was software wired, so you could change its purpose if you really wanted to.
There's
no one ever did.
Amazing bit in Arkham Asylum where you get poisoned by the Scarecrow and it makes it look like there's a bug in the game because it all goes static and you're like, oh my god, my game's broken, but it's just actually because you've been poisoned by the Scarecrow.
This X-Men game,
but it's the same thing.
It's done better in Metal Gear.
But this X-Men game also required you physically interacting with the console, so I'd say that Shinji Mikami not Shinji Mikami.
Hideo Kojima. Yeah, okay, maybe it wasn't.
I think Hideo basically owns everything he did to that one X-Men game.
It was the first mainstream success that did that sort of weird, extreme stuff.
Actually, weigh in on your opinion on this game.
I think I agree with Jack as in terms of pacing.
Snap! High five.
Yeah, okay, let's...
Yeah.
Ow.
That was weird.
Go on, Anthony.
That's a weird high five that also slapped Lazan.
Lay down some beats for me, Anthony. Go on.
I think the Metal Gear games are incredibly stylish in a Japanese sense. Like, as you pointed out, they're very Japanese. And I think Hideo has a lot to do with that, because he does a lot of stuff that no one else will do. Like, he's kind of taking risks. So I really enjoy that. I like the look of the games as well. But the environments are extremely boring. Like,
really,
every
I thought they
room
were very iconic.
Every room looks the same. It's like, this room is no different to the previous room.
Compare it to the Portal test chambers, the Portal 2 test chambers.
No, but that has a pleasing visual style.
Yeah, and they're test chambers.
So is Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid 2.
No, Metal Gear Solid 2. I was like, oh, this looks like Half-Life. This looks like Bioshock. Brilliant.
It came out 3 years before
It's all
Half-Life 2
grey
and
and
like
brown.
7 years before Bioshock. I mean, it's relative to when it came out.
But
Metal
it
Gear
looks the
Solid 2.
same. It's these labs with this
Yeah.
rubbish in it, and here's the dark colour palette, and isn't it bleak? And
the environments are
whereas Portal
unremarkable.
and Portal 2, it's white. It's obviously the test chambers, and you go to the different environments as well in Portal 2. But
I don't
visually,
understand.
it's a lot nicer.
The environments are quite
quantify that,
functional.
no.
I'd give
Functional,
that.
yeah.
Functional environments.
Well, that's what I was
but
going
not
to say. He
graphically
was
pleasing.
intentionally going. It seemed intentionally going for realistic environments, and it worked. Like, they're very realistic.
Yeah.
But I don't want to play a game with realistic environments. 'Cause I just walk around my house. I wanted that. You know. I
Really?
don't.
What about
The game of life.
Yeah.
I mean, Crisis had realistic environments.
no, but
Do you
that's
think that was a
you're
pretty game?
jetting around New York City is like overgrown and or a tropical island. I don't live on a tropical island, but I guess I don't live in a big shell either. But it just looks really boring.
That's I think it has a really strong visual style.
It does,
It's color
no.
coordinated very well. And I think
No,
this
it's a
looks-
very strong visual style, but I'm not interested in it because it's a strong visual style representing something that
You're not interested in.
I don't want to stand in a room full of boxes ever. So the fact that they've represented that in a game really accurately and a very strong
Such a
visual
weird
style.
thing to say.
Such a
So
great Halloween
you're
prank
not
coming up.
interested in
April Fool's Day.
photorealism. Photorealism isn't a concept that appeals to
Well,
you.
it's obviously not photorealistic. I'm
It is,
interested
that's
in...
what the look. That's what you're arguing against, though. Photorealism. You're arguing against something that is like a realistic scene.
We could do
No, because...
we could do a room full of boxes photorealistic. I reckon.
Yeah, we could, but there's a reason no one does. Because no one wants to stand in a room full of boxes, except people who play Metal Gear Solid games. And they apparently enjoy it. And I think obviously the combat and stuff keeps you distracted from the fact that the places you're standing are terribly boring. But if you had to run around that... Like, if you had a photorealistic tropical island, you might actually enjoy running around it for a while without any enemies.
Have you completed the game?
No.
Okay, well, because none of you have completed the game, it kind of you miss a lot of the thematic content, and basically one of the main themes throughout Metal Gear Solid 2 is the idea of the player as in some kind of virtual game sort of mission, because obviously the main character in the game, Raiden, he was trained not on the battlefield but in sort of VR virtual reality, and there's a parallel there that Kojima makes with the player who's playing the game, and it's meant to, the big shell looks like that because it's literally like a virtual construct. It's there kind of like a shooting gallery, you know, to sort of train you as a person how to do all this stuff. So it's not meant to be that sort of extremely beautiful or whatever. It's meant to be functional. It's meant to be kind of like, you know, the empty texture in Valve games, you know, where it's like an orange tiled thing. It's meant to look like that, I think, because it's meant to be kind of a placeholder, like an exercise chamber.
But is this something you've heard or something you've guessed?
No, that's in the game. That's what the game is largely about.
It does certainly feel like a test environment.
Well, it is. I mean,
yeah.
That's kind of one of the main parts of the
built-
story.
Even the layout of all the struts and the stuff is designed to be very functional. I think. That's how I kind of view it.
So it's all meant to be
fair
the
enough.
realisation at the end that actually, oh no, I'm going to be the guy in the game next, and that it all layers up on itself like that.
That
No, it's all
What are you saying?
Did I just
in the
misunderstand?
Game? Yeah, what are you saying in the
Okay.
game suggests that it's not like... Because it sounds like you just made that up to excuse
But honestly, I haven't. I mean, you can fact check this with like the game. Look up there's one guy who did like a 5-minute summary of the entire saga. I don't know if he mentions it, but it's actually worth a
Oh, I
watch.
should have watched that one.
I
give you a-
remember when this game was coming out, and one of the things that surprised me about this game, whenever I play it, and it's kind of a little bit with Metal Gear Solid games, is that when they're being pre-hyped and stuff like that, they always go for the incredible realism. Like, I remember a friend at school telling me, oh my god, like, if you shoot an ice cube into a bucket of water, it will eventually melt. And I was like, oh my god. And what it made, they give this element of like explosive, like so much freedom to do, and yet the game I found is actually very restrictive.
Yes.
It's actually really quite almost claustrophobic running
The Metal Gear
around
Solid
the
games
corridors.
are full of really, really minute details. But they're not realistic details, they're kind of Easter egg details.
But it's a very claustrophobic game, and that's maybe I played it wrong, but it's really strange how you go from being trying to be stealth, then you see someone sees you and it's like, panic, and then you just run around and hope to hell that no one gets you, and it's like, oh my god, I hide in the cupboard. It's a really funny game. I find it really interesting to play.
Yeah,
but it's
I
not
would
a
have
style
not
that I
have had the
enjoy.
patience to do that. You have to hide from stuff.
Yeah.
See, I can't even do that in real life. I was always the worst at hide and seek. because I'd be hiding and I'd see them come in and look for me, and I'd start giggling because I'd find it hilarious that they couldn't see me, and then I'd always give my position away.
Well, that's what Snake
So-
does. He's giggling too much.
That's what I'm thinking. No, but I mean, a game that style of game, no.
I'm not a fan of stealth
for
games
me.
either, so maybe that informed my decision.
Oh,
to-
I love stealth games.
Oh, okay, so that's...
But I
You
don't.
clearly don't know what a stealth game is, Jack.
Splinter Cell.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Action
The
game.
early Splinter Cells are not
Fantastic.
action games.
I need to be fair. I only like the first 2 or 3 Splinter Cells. After that, I got.
But they're still like proper action stealth games, you know.
Yeah.
Well, listen, aside from your woefully uninformed opinions on Metal Gear Solid 2, I thought it might be interesting to discuss the relationship that games have with film, because, Anthony, you've said this many times in the past that the Metal Gear series feels more like watching a game than playing it. And to be honest, the ratio of cutscene to gameplay is probably roughly 50-50.
Famously.
Yeah.
Well,
What,
I'll quickly tell
really?
you.
Oh,
the
yeah,
original. Well, wait till you hear this bombshell of trivia. The original script was 800 pages long.
What?
All written by the creator.
Absolutely. There's a lot
That
of
is
cutscene.
ridiculous.
And well,
Was
I
that
mean-
just cutscenes, or is that also all the optional dialogue? Because there's a lot of that as well.
Yeah, that's gotta
guessing
be
it must
optional
be
stuff as well.
dialogue.
Yeah, it wouldn't,
800.
but it's
I
not
mean-
just...
I mean, what's
Listen.
what's the film? 120 pages?
It's a
Something like
page a minute.
that?
Yeah, but I mean, Skyrim's what, at least 1,000, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
So I mean, Lisanne, you're saying that's ridiculous because your conception of a game is that you constantly play it. But I thought, I mean,
Well, no, I enjoy some cutscenes, like to give me some nice exposition so I can relax a bit after a particularly stressful moment in the
Yeah.
game. I enjoy a nice cutscene, which will take a minute or two or something, and then I can move on to the next area. So it's like a little rest, like a little ad break almost, but
Yeah.
it gives you story as opposed to showing products down your throat. But like when I was looking at the Let's Play for this, it was just, every time I skipped on. It was another cutscene. I liked how they moved it to widescreen for the cutscenes, so it really felt like a film. The opening credits, I mean, that was proper opening credits like you get in movies. But if I had just bought a game and I'm putting it in, I've got to watch it for 20 minutes before I can actually start playing, that would drive me insane.
I didn't enjoy when it comes to the cutscenes the fact that they were just so badly. They weren't film worthy. They weren't shot like they. I mean, there's bits like when Raiden first comes out of the water and he like flicks his hair. It's like a minute and a half of him climbing out of the water, and it's like just get out of the water. Like,
Yeah,
if that
but
was
what
a
you have
film,
to
I'd be
bear in
like,
mind-
why am I watching so long of this guy getting out of the
what you
water?
have to bear in mind is that it's got a very affected stylistic view on things. It's Kojima in a nutshell. It's very Japanese, very Eastern. It doesn't really
reminds me
jive well
of,
with.
like a ninja film a lot. The way that it's shot,
Yeah.
like, lots of like shing,
Well, I mean, he's a
dramatic,
ninja film.
dramatic shots of like.
Well, I mean, he
people
has
flying.
he has
in the air and
a
stuff.
he has a samurai sword later on, and like
Yeah.
Snake has a bandana. Like, I think that's definitely an intentional parallel. But my point, my overarching point here was, I was just wondering, where do you guys stand on the idea that films are able to do exposition development, whatever, better than games by virtue of them being films? Because I mean, Kojima obviously felt that stories were best told through something that you watch, and games were obviously best played, and so he combined the two to have a really good story that you could also play. I mean, do you guys think that games since or before have managed to make a story that is very effective that you play through, or do you reckon they've just used cutscenes sparingly enough?
Yeah,
Walking Dead.
The Last of Us.
Well, yeah, but The Last of Us is interesting because it actually strives for that cinematic feel even whilst you're playing. It doesn't. Its type of storytelling is very Hollywood.
Well,
I
then
just wonder if that's doing it the best, or if it could possibly diverge.
Well, the style of The Walking Dead, I think, is great because that's not meant to look like a film. It looks like the novel,
But it's
the graphic
interesting.
novels.
It's interesting that you mention that.
but it is a playable story.
But it's I mean, The Walking Dead at its most interactive is only just more interactive than a cutscene. I mean, you don't really play The Walking Dead, do you? You kind of go through all the conversations.
Yeah, it's
and
kind of
stuff.
like a choose your own adventure book in that
Yeah.
way. But when you go into it, you know it's going to be that. If something
why-
is promising me it's a game, I want it to be a game first and foremost.
But Metal Gear Solid 2 is a game. There's hours and hours of game in there. I mean, it's got a very, very structured, very well developed and designed game in there.
Did you ever skip dialogue when you played this game?
No.
Like even when he's talking to Octocon or whatever, and he's like, or he's like-
Octocon.
or whoever his name is,
Octocon.
or when he's talking to Rose and she's like, "Do you know what day it is today, Jack? You know what day is it today, Rose?" Skip it. Don't care anymore. Skip it. Get around it. No, you never skipped any dialogue.
No, why would I? Why would I want to miss the game?
Because that's not the game.
Do you skip the opening cutscene to like Halo 3 when you
Yeah,
first
because it's an
play
opening
it?
cutscene and it's only 2 minutes long. It's not 20 minutes of Raiden going in the air.
I think It just
I didn't mind the cutscenes, but I don't mind. I found actually the one-on-one dialogues between the characters going, "Wait, what are you saying there?" I'm saying they need to get to Metal Gear. The Metal Gear. I found that a bit more monotonous when I'm just sitting there going, "Mm-hmm."
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. The dialogue is often quite ham-fisted.
You reminded me of Homer when you're doing that.
Also, it doesn't help, and I will be honest, I'm not clever enough to follow the story of this game. But doesn't.
But it doesn't
it's
matter if you're
nuts.
clever enough because you haven't played it all the way to the end, so you have no idea what the story actually is.
Is it more?
None of you do.
No, but even at the start, it was like, oh my god, you got a Metal Gear down there, and it's like, it's a Metal Ray Gear or something like that.
That's
And I
a
was like,
robot.
what?
It's a type of robot.
And then
Like,
then there's just characters coming in. Like, who's the big bad dude?
which big bad dude?
You're on the ship at the start when you're playing as Snake, and then he goes, oh my god, he's got like an eye patch or whatever.
Revolver Ocelot?
Revolver Ocelot.
Ocelot.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
He was one of Big Boss's comrades initially. Yeah, they were.
And he goes, oh my god, they're all part of the Patriots. Who are the Patriots? The president's here. President's dead.
First of all, just because not having played through to the end of a story doesn't excuse it being badly told in the first place or being so crazy to follow.
But you can't really make that judgment until you have experienced the whole story. I mean, there
But
are lots
surely
of,
the story should be interesting enough to make you want to know the end.
and for millions of people, obviously it was because the game was received massively well. I mean, it got
This
like
is a huge
10
difference
out of
because
10.
whenever I
He's right,
whenever
reviewed incredibly well.
whenever I start watching a movie, no matter how terrible the film is, I will always watch it till the end
Yeah.
because I want to see what happens. Whereas when I play a game, as you all know, if I don't like it,
But, yeah.
I don't play it.
There's a massive difference though because
Okay.
games require
Because
a
even-
conscious participation, whereas a film can just
Yeah.
wash over you. You can just consume a film without
and
having
that's the core difference of what you're saying. I watch a film to watch a film and not actively participate in it. I play a game to actively participate in it. I don't want a game that's trying to be a film because otherwise I'd watch a film.
Yeah.
I want a game that's going to be a game.
No, I know what you mean.
I don't want a mix of
I mean,
both.
I'm of
Well,
the opinion.
certainly not in this genre. I
Yeah.
don't want a mix of both.
I'm of the opinion that eventually games will kind of. I mean, films are doing sort of what games can do better. And one day we probably won't really be watching films anymore because there'll be games that do it in a way that's more interesting, even with minimal interaction.
You're going to choose the one guy in the audience at the cinema who controls it. Don't go down there. Go back. You missed a pickup, idiot.
Hey, jackass! You not played this one before?
I disagree completely. Films and games will never.
They'll always stay separate. They will always be
Well, I mean,
separate
films,
entities.
as an art form, films haven't really developed in the last 30, 40 years.
They don't need to.
Well, the techniques they use to
Neither
make
is
them.
theatre.
Well, no, the technology they used to make them is not the technique.
Shocking.
Yeah, no.
Well, no, there are more stylistic techniques.
Who's advanced on Kubrick in the last 30 years? Like what? Come on.
Tarantino.
Tarantino has not. He uses,
Yes, he has.
He absolutely hasn't. Tarantino's
you
trash
saying-
for the
He's developed-
populace. He's not.
Doesn't
No,
matter.
you're
It's still a
saying-
style.
Yeah, but it hasn't advanced anything. It's still
Roman
just,
Doesn't make-
Polanski.
Polanski.
You're talking about
Pedophile.
subjective opinion. Who's advanced on my opinion of...
no, I'm not. I'm talking on.
whatever you
I'm
said.
talking on pragmatic, functional
Same with music.
evolution.
Edgar Wright.
Are you kidding me? He
you
makes
kidding?
like
Even I've
comedy
got to agree
teen
with him on that
films.
one. Yeah, no,
he
you're on
hasn't.
there.
He's not. I mean, it's not art, is it?
Yes.
Really? What the
This
world's
is the right.
at?
We're getting into semantics now. Okay, there is no way of definitively.
How would you define art?
How would I define art?
To discuss
Rubbish.
this video
That's
game,
how I
we need to say
define it.
first what
Good
is art.
storytelling, on the other
Then
hand,
they
is
must
what
be
I've got
art.
a degree in.
Then they definitely are art.
Well, that's the problem. I don't know what art is, and that's why I can't rate Metal Gear Solid 2 very
Podcast
well.
over.
No, James, you can't
Art's
say
good.
you
Art
can't
is
say only out of the films I enjoy and think are art. How have they advanced the art form?
No, my point. My point was right. In the last 30 years, with games, what have happened? We've gone from Pong to something like Bioshock Infinite. The method and the way that you're able
Yes,
to tell a story
James.
has changed
And right,
massively.
James. So, drama as an art form started 4,000 years ago.
Yeah, and
in
4,000
4,000 years, we've gone from two ancient Greeks standing there in a toga,
To two
talking
ancient-
great
one toga,
poetics
that's
to each other.
to two men being
Until they
filmed
can
in
afford.
togas.
to film and space and gravity, like, and that amazing production. And I bring that up
Well-
because I was listening to the podcast on the
yeah.
way home from school today, where we were talking about gravity, and you were saying how it was so incredible how realistic they made that film look with that technology.
It's incredible.
Is that not
It is
the
absolutely
giant
incredible.
technological advance you're talking about? Pong to now was 30 years. Our storytelling devices going from two blokes in togas 4,000 years ago
okay.
to modern day people up in space.
Just explain to
Huge.
me. Explain to me how the realistic aesthetic of gravity is a storytelling device.
Because you believe it.
Because if you
don't believe it, you're not going to care about the character.
You don't believe it though, because you know these are two Hollywood actors who've been paid millions of dollars to appear on this set in this film that you've paid the cinema guy
Brecht,
to go and
chill out.
I think you know that, but the people watching it get lost in it. It's not.
That's the point. A good film sucks you in. A good game sucks you in. You were sucked in with Metal Gear Solid 2. These guys weren't.
Right?
My point, we're kind of. I didn't really. I'm not prepared to argue on this broad front.
It is
Escapism, yeah.
My point was just that I think that in the last 30 years, games have evolved massively more than film has, and they'll probably continue.
Only because the technology.
I don't disagree with you saying they've evolved more, but I disagree with you saying they haven't. The film hasn't evolved at all in terms of storytelling.
But don't forget as well that films are a lot older than games. Films have matured. Games have still yet to reach their maturity, in my opinion. And I think we will. We're almost starting to level off now, where okay. Visual quality is getting better, but we're starting to hit that point where we're getting good at storytelling. And I said when the last Christmas show that in terms of stories, I don't think games yet are that great at telling stories. I think it's a very small handful, and I would put sadly Metal Gear Solid 2 in that camp that people running up the flag as one of the best stories in games.
It's interesting because you have to look at what kind of story you're talking about. I mean, GTA 5, the overarching narrative, the story of Michael and the other guys, it's probably not that good. It's not that well written. It's disjointed. It doesn't make sense. But the stories that the players make themselves, they're more emotive than any film you're going to watch because they actually involve you. You're the character there. You're doing that. Sort of the journey you go on there is not. You can't make that happen with a film.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I mean, you can empathise with the character in the film.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But the character isn't
which is where your involvement comes from.
Emotional connection.
But you're not. You're always an outsider. You're not living the character, which you do in a game.
I very rarely feel like I'm the actual character in a game. Even if it's first person, I still feel like I'm controlling someone else.
Oh, really?
So I don't think a game has really given me that connection ever before. But I'm not a very emotional person, so that's it. But I
found the same thing.
I find it a lot more in multiplayer games because obviously I'm being graded on my performance. In a weird way, I can get more into the role. Of that.
I understand.
And I imagine that's why MMOs are another thing that people like because.
But obviously, there's not much story involvement in that because it's multiplayer.
No, but there is a story.
Yeah,
that's my entire point.
Yeah.
There's development. There's dramatic points. Then there's the sort of.
But in multiplayer games?
Yeah, not in terms of a story narrative that's given
that's
by
what I meant,
exposition,
narrative.
but there's a story that you...
I can go to a multiplayer game, I could turn that game around and people will be talking about me for years to come. That's what happens before.
Well, no, things like Eve are famous for that because the players create the story.
Where's that quote from? Is that a quote from something?
What?
Were you quoting something then?
That was Jack.
No, that was me.
that was
all him. 100%.
I thought he was quoting something.
That's Jack, yeah.
But Jack, what you said just there,
Jack Marshall.
That kind of story, Daigo's, that Street Fighter performance where he parried every single hit and then won the match, that's one of the best stories in games.
They usually call it like a meta story, right?
But
if we're going to bring this back to Metal Gear Solid 2, I'm not going to tell many people about, oh man, I shot a seagull in Metal Gear Solid 2 the other day. I didn't have those moments in Metal Gear Solid 2. So.
Well, I mean, you're playing it 12 years after it came out. In 2001, shooting a seagull was like, holy shit. That's amazing. I just shot a seagull.
It has a lot of impressive...
in real life as well.
I think Metal Gear Solid has, as a series, has always had impressive technical things.
Yeah.
And I want to make clear that I think the best part about Metal Gear Solid games are the cutscenes, because I like how stylishly cinematic it is.
Do you not think the combat is very... Like, the gameplay itself is very well designed?
No, that's why I find it so boring, because the environments I'm fighting in are boring.
I think the game of cat and mouse and the difference between killing someone or putting them to sleep with a silenced gun, but then obviously they come back really quickly. It's an interesting
Stealth games
trade-off.
have never sat very well with me, except for games like the later Splinter Cell games, because they're not really stealth games.
Yeah, there's the action games.
The action games where you can be sneaky, and that feels fun, to like headshot someone and no one knows who did it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have to be careful around enemies. I'd rather blast them in the face. But what I was going to say is, I think that games like Mass Effect, which I was talking about for its cinematography, for its cinematic qualities in storytelling, I think that does it better, because even in dialogue scenes, you've still got that interactive element in dialogue choices. So even though I think the Metal Gear Solid cutscenes are the best part about it and very stylishly done, in a Japanese sense, they don't have enough interactivity for me to be really engaged. So you're
saying that interactivity enhances a story?
For me, like being able to choose where the story's going in a certain sense, because I'm choosing dialogue choices in Mass Effect. I really enjoy that cinematic approach. And I think that's bringing the game closer, rather than make it more film-like, making it more game-like.
Yeah.
Because it's on that spectrum. So I prefer that sort of cinematic storytelling to Metal Gear's, where it's the story is basically set in stone and you're following along with it. And so I actually prefer the cutscenes over the combat in Metal Gear Solid, but the combat sort of like makes me not like it overall. To
not be completely negative on the game as well, there are certain things I did enjoy, and it's interesting that one of the things about the game actually I did quite like is I actually find it quite a funny game.
Yeah.
And the only reason is because there's little touches they give to it that are quite odd. For example, like when Raiden's running, he can do like a cartwheel, which is hilarious because in me with a game, ever there's a cutscene and I'm having to walk, I'm hopping around, I'm jumping, I'm crouching up and down, like I look like a nutcase. These people are trying to talk to me like normal and I'm running around in a nutcase. So with Raiden, when it was like get to strut B, I'll cartwheel all the way there, whee! And it's quite funny when I got to a point where I couldn't even be bothered to kill guards anymore. I just run past them cartwheeling, which if you think of like it's a stealth game and I'm cartwheeling past these guards, you're like, who the hell's this guy? And there were little elements like that, and I did actually enjoy little mechanics like the classic sort of cigarette pack or climbing into a locker and there'll be like a picture of a nudie girl on the back of the locker and little touches like that I did actually quite enjoy. And there were times where I couldn't help but laugh at, like, I'll be hanging off an edge, for example, and a guard will just walk down and walk into my feet or something and he'll go like, oh god, this is pretty bad. I have to hide in a box in a corner for 10 minutes thinking he's going to go away, he's going to go away, he's going to go away.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I did like those little touches.
Yeah, I mean, for a game that
got quite well.
For a game that initially seems to be so repetitive in terms of gameplay, it actually has a lot of incidental mechanics that show their face. I mean, my favourite part of the game is the bit in the tanker when you're near the Marines and you have to sneak past them, and they're looking left and right, and you have to make sure you're not on the projector and stuff.
Yeah, it's clever.
I mean, you can go up to that projector and you can like change the slides, and then I think a naked girl goes on the screen. Naked girls happen a lot in this game.
I didn't know that. I liked
she's not naked, but she's attractive.
Oh, okay.
I thought going into the first person for the camera as well was quite nice actually for the shooting, especially when you have the drones and you have to hit them quite a specific spot.
Yeah,
I mean, but I did find some of the set pieces. I bet there's a bit where it's all flooded and you're swimming underneath and you've got to hit airplanes. I remember I found that a little bit like, oh, and like I said, the bit when you're trying to help the president's daughter across those pillars and she walks slower than like, oh god, it's awful. That was when I gave up. I went, I can't be arsed anymore. But yeah. But no, I'm being negative again, and obviously we've got to remember the fact that this game did review incredibly well. It's always in the top 10s of most people's lists of like most important games, especially of that generation. And on the PS2,
well, I can imagine. From the sounds of it, it did a lot of firsts.
I haven't got the stats, but I think it was for a little while one of the best-selling games on the PS2.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, it's extremely technically impressive, and obviously for people who like, this is going to sound silly, obviously for people who like Metal Gear Solid games are fantastic. But I mean that style. I mean, there's not many games like it, which is why I have to say Metal Gear Solid games, because it's not like you can say that genre.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Because it's full of crazy Japanese stuff, and also extremely technically impressive. Like, not Twin Snakes. The third one, Snake Eater.
Snake Eater. Yeah.
Carried on the tradition, and that was I like the environments in that. I think it's just because this is set on a installation,
do, and that's why I obviously massively respect Kojima Studios and stuff. Is it Kojima Productions or is it Studios?
I think it's Kojima Productions.
Yeah, because I always laugh because Metal Gear Solid games, they always get a bit controversial no matter what they show in the trailer. Like I remember when this came out and then actually with Raiden, people were like furious because they did a lot of marketing material where they only showed snakes.
Exactly.
People were like, what? And then like the third one obviously is in the jungles. People were like, this is quite weird, and it's called Snake Eater. I can't remember much about the fourth one, but even now the fifth one, they've just released a trailer and he's on a horse. And people are like, what the hell, is Metal Gear Solid on a horse? That's not going to make any sense. But you just know it's going to work because they're so good at doing that. It's going to be a good, fun, like really good laugh game.
A really good laugh game.
Good laugh game. And obviously
Metal Gear Solid 5.
It's going to be hilarious with a horse.
Incidentally, I just read today that the ESRB rated that game as having sexual violence in it. So yeah, good laugh game.
Well, that sniper chick has got very little clothes on, so I think if you're violent violent towards her in any sense, it's sexual violence.
Yeah. Do you think though now by the fifth one? I mean, I haven't played any recent ones. Do they have to kind of recap the story in the fourth one because it must be quite...
It's going to be it's a prequel of sorts. Really, I think it's set in the 70s.
Because even like Resident Evil's one that reminds me of it. Whenever they do a new game, it's like, good God, we're going to have to explain the whole storyline of what's going on because it's insane.
Really? Resident Evil doesn't really have a proper story.
Metal Gear should have a reboot?
No, it's not. No. It's too established. It's too established and self-referential for that. It would make no sense whatsoever. It's like, should they reboot Mario? No.
I wouldn't be surprised if when Kojima sits down to write the script to a Metal Gear Solid game, before he finishes each sentence, he thinks up a new Easter egg to put in the game, and so he doesn't write the end of the sentence yet and goes to code it and then comes back and can't remember what he was doing, so puts in like another robot or something. Because that would explain, because you have to admit the stories are nuts, right? Like,
well, absolutely, yeah. It makes sense.
But then if it was originally 800 pages long, he will have had to have chopped out huge bits of it.
Well, no, that's all.
Cut it
there's
down.
a lot of optional dialogue because you can call people during the game and they'll say something depending on the item you're holding, for example. So there's so much optional dialogue that you might never hear if you don't take time to watch.
I see.
There's a hell of a lot of stuff in this game that, even like there are bits where you can listen to other people's conversations. There are like hundreds of lines of dialogue just on that alone. Just one little mechanic.
God, it sounds really boring.
It is really boring for me personally.
Do you know what's not boring? A bit of trivia.
Woo!
Talking about films, obviously Snake's Alias, Pliskin. Anyone know what film that's after?
Escape from LA.
Yeah.
Or New York?
I've got a T-shirt.
Which
with
one's
that
the
guy
first
on
one?
it.
Kurt Russell, Escape from New York and Escape from LA. New York was in 81 and LA was in 96. Wow, that's a big year. There we go. A bit of trivia on Escape from LA.
It took a
There
long
you go.
time to...
Yeah. Snake Plissken is the name of the character Kurt Russell plays. Because of the events of September 11th, which was shortly after the game, or during development actually, sorry, the developers removed all American flags from the poles along Wall Street and atop the Federal Hall. Originally scripted after killing Solidus.
Yeah.
Raiden was supposed to cut the flag down from atop Federal Hall to cover Solidus' dead body. The animation is still in place of Raiden raising his sword and then slicing it down, but the flag was removed. It's interesting. Unspoken first names of Octagon and Solid Snake respectively are Hal and Dave, which are the
Octagon.
computer and the principal characters in 2001 Space Odyssey, which is interesting that you said that Stanley Kubrick was the...
Yeah.
Was that what you were talking about? The pinnacle was Space 2001 Odyssey.
Oh god, I hate that film. No.
Oh, right, okay.
Terrible, boring, dull.
And it's also called 2001
Gravity was
Space
better.
Odyssey.
Gravity was better.
Some of the exchanges between Jack and Rose, which is one of the very few storylines actually in the film I liked. I like the romantic film. Any game with a romantic interest in it.
When did this game come out?
2001.
Post Titanic, who are also called Jack and Rose.
Oh.
Very interesting. That was another bit of trivia that I left out because I thought, well, a bit obvious, you know. Watched Titanic the other day. Really good, that film.
Why would you rewatch Titanic?
Why would I rewatch it?
Yeah, why would you rewatch it?
Because it's a bloody good film.
Because the ship went down, but their love was forever.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's so depressing.
Well,
You're
not
depressed.
Really. The guy hits the
It's
blade.
amazing.
It's
Do you not
brilliant.
hear that hopeful flute of Celine Dion at the end?
Is that what the
Stunning.
kids are calling it?
Oh,
now?
you joke. You joke though. I watched it on Netflix, and then I felt
Did you
like
cry?
my laptop has this ridiculous thing where if I take the power lead out, even if the lid's closed, when it gets down to 10%, it will turn itself back on and tell me, "Oh, you're running out of battery." So I'm lying in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, and suddenly the Titanic theme tune starts playing in my room. And I woke up and went, "What the hell's going on?" It's in the pitch black, and I was like, "Am I on the Titanic?"
Wait, the weirder thing about that is that you close your laptop without shutting down Netflix.
Yeah, the credits were rolling. Dunk, close the laptop.
Put it to sleep.
I never shut my laptop down.
No, I mean, at least
That
close-
thing
at least
is-
close
is
the Netflix
constantly
window.
working. I'm worried if I turn it off, it won't come back on again.
Just leave the credits rolling like a weirdo. That's not neat. Be neater.
Minimalist Anthony's tweaking.
It's working. Definitely not working.
Well, anyway, the dialogue between Jack and Rose is based on Hideo Kojima's and his wife. For example, before they got married, she'd always ask him what day it was. And once, when they had a date...
What day it was?
Yeah, don't know why.
Not as in what day of the week, as in what's the significance
Yeah.
of this day.
Oh, okay.
'cause
I was
once-
going to say.
Sorry, I should
Yeah,
have
his wife is retarded. Listen, game.
I should have finished my sentences in because once when they had a date, he completely forgot about it. This is why Rose continuously asked Jack, "What day is it?" Is taken from. That's where it's from, apparently. According to Kojima, the opening scene in which Solid Snake throws away his lit cigarette into the Hudson River caused some negative responses from fans, who probably weren't fans, to be honest.
Littering.
Therefore, in the later installments, Naked Snake or Solid Snake are always seen discarding their smokes properly and avoiding littering whenever possible, which must have been a bit anti-dramatic in the cutscene where he goes, "Put this in the bin."
Goes and
Stuff
finds a
that out.
public receptacle.
Make sure he puts it in the butt side, not the gum
no
side.
recycling.
And yeah, the last one I had was the script was over 800 pages long.
I really shouldn't have just done what I just did because just done what I just did.
Good
Really
language.
shouldn't have done what I just did because we got through this whole podcast without anyone doing a Solid Snake impression.
Well, I was going to say, do you want to hear a bit more from my Sonic Snape soundboard?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. What's quite a good one?
Don't try to talk.
So sure.
That's good.
How do you know all this stuff?
This is an app, free app. It's brilliant. Does all the noises. Hold on.
It's free.
I don't know what it was. What was that? Game over.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh, defeated a snake. Snake. Where's that? Who's that dude? Is that Octocon?
Yeah, it's Otacon.
Oh, here we go.
Respond. Snake! Snake!
That is very cheesy.
Also very iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's snake is the thing. And there's a couple of guys at my work who, when they get a text message, they have the alert noise, which always makes me go, "Oh, there's a guy around." But
But a cartwheel.
yeah, we get onto the retrograde part of the show.
Axe.
Axe. James, how are we going to grade this? You
Oh, I
didn't think
forgot
of
this was
anything
a
up, didn't
thing.
you?
I forgot this was. Or
Types of iPhone.
if it was a film, what film would it be?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, give me a
I've
minute.
got one. Metal Gear Solid 2. There you go. All right, Anthony. Are you happy?
Lol. This was a film.
Because it's not just a film. Like it's not just
Oh,
a
this is going
game.
to take me so long to think of something. Someone needs to talk for quite a while.
Wait, no, I wouldn't even dare suggest that Metal Gear Solid 2 is not a game, like I have done with
No, so it's not just a
Beyond
game.
Two Souls. No, that's the new one. Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain is good. That makes no sense. Okay, the Sand's got an answer, yes?
The Hunt for Red October.
Okay. Because
good
you
one, that's a
never...
good one.
Because you
Incredibly
never...
long.
Did you watch a video of
Incredibly
someone watching
boring.
it, or...
No, I've never got to the end of it.
Did someone describe to you what the film
No,
was about?
it's just long, boring, very slow.
Revolutionary.
Submarines, it did a lot of new things.
Hailed as a masterpiece.
I don't know if Hunt for Red October was hailed as a masterpiece,
Oh,
but
well, that doesn't really fit, does
I
it?
had
Because
to
Metal
turn
Gear
off
Solid
100
was.
October.
yeah,
So that's a good one to choose.
yeah. I've got the game actually for the Hunt for Red
really?
October for Super Nintendo in the other
Nice.
room.
They released it on the Game Boy
It's
as well.
really not good.
Next week's show.
That would be really cruel. But yeah, I will give this game the Hunt for Red October.
Okay.
I'm going to go for Magnolia.
Oh yeah, that's a rubbish film.
Because it's about 3 hours long. Everyone told me it was absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of waffling going on in
get
it. Lots of talking. The storyline ends, doesn't even make sense. It's
Yeah.
like, what? And
It starts raining frogs.
Went on with 3 hours. Lots of incredibly talented people working on it and appearing in it. And I finished it and went, that was pants.
I agree with you. It was awful.
But I can respect that it is really well loved. And there are a lot of great performances in it. Just like Metal Gear Solid in terms of the mechanics. And I can see why people could enjoy the film. And in fact, it has an incredible opening, which doesn't really line up with Metal Gear Solid 2. But still, it's a good film. If you haven't seen Magnolia, watch the first 20 minutes. Fantastic.
I'm choosing a film that we've already mentioned, but 2001: A Space Odyssey, because it was very well received, but I found it quite slow and hard to watch. And the story made, well, what story there was, made very little sense,
Yeah.
especially at the end. Although that's not directly related to Metal Gear Solid 2. It doesn't make sense, all of it.
But you love monkeys.
I love monkeys.
Yeah.
What?
You mean the start of the film?
Yeah.
Apes, first of all, and they're not really the point of the film.
Apes and monkeys.
2001 isn't a story about apes.
I would say.
It's a story about the evolution
It's
of
not
man.
about apes going to space.
Classic
No.
monkey film.
Oh,
I
2001
thought it was a sequel to Planet of the Apes.
2001 is, up until the very last scene, a story about the evolution of man, and then it becomes bat crazy. I don't know what happens, but
Yeah. Star Child.
that's apparently where we're going next.
I'm going to
Is
make
babies in space.
a new internet service where I take films and I cut them where I think the film would have been better off if it ended. For example.
Oh, like AI, that's got like 5 endings. That needs to end so much sooner. Before it needs to end with Haley Joel Osment at the bottom of the ocean crying out, "Mama!" Get rid of the aliens coming and getting him. Nope, that all needs to go. Ends there with him at the bottom of the ocean.
For example, like Lord of the Rings, when Frodo and Thing fall in the lava, just fade to black credits. Brilliant. Entangled, where the guy near the end is nearly dead, cut there, fade.
No, that's Disney. It has to have happy ending.
And what was the other one? I was going to do Toy Story. As they're going into the furnace, fade to black credits.
That's really
Brilliant.
harsh.
I
You're
know.
making them
Imagine
dark.
that. Imagine that. Well, they'd be better off if they were like that. Babe, just end it on a bacon sandwich. And then just so cut bits out. So it'd be great. You could show people it. They'd be like, "What the God?" Like Homeward Bound. Just have it.
They
there.
never get home.
Just running across the
End
train.
it.
No,
Homeward Bound. No, listen. Homeward Bound, end it just after the collie gets back, but before the golden retriever gets back.
Exactly.
Because he's looking hopefully off. And his own dog doesn't turn up.
Just had the golden
Stop
retriever.
it,
Just
no.
cut out the bit where the golden retriever does it. They go back in the house for turkey. He's like turkey, and it's like, what? The dog didn't turn up. Where's the dog?
No, the collie turns
Just
up.
have. He was too old. He was too old. Turkey in the house. There we go. Brilliant.
You.
That's
Saves
my
the
new-
vets, Bill.
No, that's going to be my new. Yeah, that's going to be my new project. But yeah, there
Jack
you go.
has to.
Oh, we haven't been. What film? You're going for Metal Gear Solid 2?
Yeah.
Oh, was that your real answer?
Yeah, that was my
answer.
real answer.
Right, but what are you basing that on?
But it's not a film.
Because no one
Can
said
I-
it was
can I-
a film.
can I get
Metal
the
Gear
DVD?
Solid 2 isn't just a film, and Metal Gear Solid 2 isn't just a game.
Okay, no, that's a fair point.
Was it somewhere in the middle?
Yeah.
It's like a fame.
Or a Gilm.
Oh.
Yeah, because fame's already a thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, you visit our website at retrogradeshow.com. And show notes for the show can be found at psycon.net/R42. And you can also go to Psycon and visit all our other sister podcasts because they're awesome. You can also find links there to our Twitter feeds, Facebook page, and obviously the competition tweet that we're going to put out.
Yeah, at
Which is a
Retrograde
retweet.
Show.
At
Check it
Retrograde
out
Show,
for the
yeah.
competition tweet.
And lastly, as we said, if you enjoy the show, take a time to review us on iTunes because you'll get a badge and they're freaking awesome. And I just remember I've got some badge because you have some fans at your school that want a badge, right?
Yeah, a couple of my students wrote us reviews and they've been nagging me at school for badges. So,
I'll get them. Make sure they wear
Listen,
them. and I'll
right.
get bullied at
Hi,
school.
Joe.
In my school, if I'd worn a badge for a podcast that my teacher did, I would have had the kicked out of me.
See, James, what you don't understand is that I'm actually an extremely cool teacher.
Nonetheless,
That's like calling yourself a hero.
And not a lot of them know that I do this. They
No,
found
I'm
it
kidding.
themselves
Yeah,
and
of
then
course.
been like, Miss, is that you?
I'm
and I'm
kidding,
like,
yes.
You should have gone,
What
no.
I'm interested in knowing is how they found it themselves. Hey, let's cyberstalk our teacher, guys.
It's funny because they all must do that.
Oh, no, they do.
That's weird.
That's why I have all my internet stuff on
Do you
lockdown.
accept them on Facebook?
No.
My lecturers at uni do. I've got all of them. on
Yeah,
Facebook.
okay, a lecturer at uni becoming friends with an 18-year-old on Facebook is fine.
I'm 20.
Me, okay. But anyone who's over 18, you're 18 and above when you go to
I'm
university.
21 tomorrow.
I'm 28. Me having an 11-year-old as my friend on Facebook
That's cool.
is not okay.
That's new age.
See a benefit.
No.
That's interesting.
Well, if any kids,
It's not happening.
if any of the Zan's
subversive.
kids are listening, I do take bribes. I've got her on Facebook.
Jack
Lots
Marshall.
of incriminating photos. No, there's not really.
Send
Don't
him a
have
friend
any kids.
request.
You're a good goodie.
The just to contribute to that, I once had one of. She wasn't a teacher, but she was like a PhD student, so she taught us.
Yeah.
But I had a PhD student who taught us on Facebook, and she removed me after I sent her increasingly weird messages because I was seeing how far I could take the student-teacher relationship, not sexually, just saying stuff that was subtly sexual to see if,
Anthony!
Jesus.
to see if she would.
Penis picture.
I was testing the limits of our friendship on Facebook, and she
Oh,
removed me.
Anthony.
What was the one that pushed it over the edge? Like, do you
No,
like,
I was just
do you
saying, like-
muffins.
I was just saying subtly weird stuff in the messages, like being too friendly. And I found out later she'd removed, not necessarily because of that, but you know, it happened after that, so maybe because of that.
Fair play, can't blame her. But yeah, get on iTunes, write a review, fantastic. And we're going to be back in 2 weeks, but we're going to be playing California Games. Can't wait. I've been meaning to do this one for like a year and a half.
Oh, God, you were going all the way to the
California
start.
Games.
You said we're all going to hate it.
No, I'm going to love it.
Well, you get it on.
Great
There are
release.
loads of different consoles playing it on, but I'm going to be playing it on the Atari ST because
Atari ST.
That's my favourite version. But you guys are feel free to play on the Commodore or the NES. I think it's on lots of the consoles and lots
On
of
the
PCs.
the Let's Play.
Or the Let's Play on YouTube because you got to play it because there are like sports and I want to see what high scores you get because that's important. That's what I'm going to be
10,000.
grading you.
Do you have to bring our high scores with us?
It's got if you can. It's got kickball. It's got BMX. It's got surfing.
Wow.
It is
got it
truly
all.
the game that keeps on giving from 1987. But yeah, so if you're listening out there, make sure you listen when you play California Games. I'll see if I can find it somewhere you can play free online because I'm pretty sure it's so old that no one cares anymore.
And also illegal.
No, but it'll be legal. I'll try to keep it legal. Keep it above board. Yeah,
Thanks.
so that's a goodbye from me, Jack Marshall. A goodbye from Anthony Hobday.
Goodbye.
A goodbye from Zan Fisher.
Bye.
And a goodbye from James McFadden.
Well, what can I say? I mean, this was. Listen, by the way, if you're the kids that Lisanne teaches, don't take what I said to heart because it's actually pretty cool that you listen to this show. I mean, you've obviously got good taste, so don't worry about it. I would not. I mean, if I was in your school and I was like 5-6 years older than you, I probably would not beat you up. So don't worry about it. You guys are cool.